All right, we are finally here. 2 years in the making. We bought all this stuff. We delayed, and here we are. Welcome to The Mix Behind the Mic. I'm your host, Harry McCloskey, co-host Keith DeAngelis, and we are here to help future brides and grooms make things as easy as possible, give them the tricks of the trade, the trends, the do's and don'ts of weddings. Quick backstory. I own In the Mix Event Group, which is a predominantly wedding-based company that does DJ photo, video, lighting, and more. Keith is our jack of all trades, if you will. Keith has been with us for multiple years, doing everything from photo booth gigs to cold spark technicians to a videographer to one
MC.
of our latest MCs that's crushing it as an MC. I wish you started that a couple of years earlier than you have. But, I'm excited to talk weddings. We do weddings every weekend. Yeah. And I just think it's long overdue for us to be talking about the do's and don'ts, the trends, and helping people make things as smooth as possible for their wedding.
Just from the little things that I've learned from doing everything. I see it from all aspects. And working with a team together, just being the MC on a gig when, like, just this past weekend or 2 weeks ago, the videographer, Perko, shout out to Perko, he's out there doing it, and I'm making sure that the people are standing in the right spot for him. Whereas other MCs,
so because you also do video with him, and in this is you're the MC, you know what he needs 100%. To set them in prep.
He's like,
them.
I
So
need a
that's
couple
huge.
minutes, and other. No offense to other companies, there's nothing wrong with them, but when they don't work with you, sometimes they're just so quick to get things going. They're handing a mic off and a toast is going when I don't have a camera set.
Right.
Whereas I made sure Perko got the shot. He gave me a little fist bump afterwards, and I felt like I was doing. So again,
But that's a perfect example of one team also doing a lot of things and knowing how to work together is so massive too.
That's why a team working together like that, we have that coexistence that is perfect to make everything work out great for a wedding. You know what I mean?
Sure. And, it really sets up the conversation of the expectations versus reality, because I think it's massive having essentially one company do a lot of this stuff, because having DJ photo and video together in sync, working together, knowing ins and outs of things can be massive when planning a wedding.
Right. Especially when a bride and groom having a way that they expect it to go. And it's going to go a lot more smoothly when you have that cohesion, I guess is the word.
I really think my next one, which I'm going to start hashtagging, is the wedding Irish exit. And it's real simple. My people are known for just leaving.
You're not talking about the MC and the workers, though. Let's
get that. My people as in I'm Irish.
Okay.
And,
I just want to get that out there because I don't want people to think that
the MC's not leaving midway. But the Irish exit is essentially people that just don't say bye to anybody and just leave a party or whatnot. But yes, at a wedding, #wedding Irish exit. It's something that I watch every weekend that literally kills me. And there's 25 minutes left of a wedding. The bride and groom are on the dance floor and they are vibing and they're with their friends and family and they're having one of the best nights of their life. And Uncle Steve and Aunt Nancy come up to say goodbye on the dance floor, and they're saying, thank you for having us. The chicken was great. The cake was delicious. You look so good. What was her name?
Nancy.
Aunt Nancy. Aunt Nancy, we do not give a shit about saying goodbye to you right now. Okay, there's 22 minutes left of my wedding. I'm in my bag. Like, just leave. Even if they take a selfie and post #wedding Irish exit and say, we love you guys so much. Like, thanks for having us. But but it's not just once. Aunt Nancy and Uncle Steve, what was his name? I just called him. Aunt Nancy and Uncle Steve leave. Okay, boom, they're back. They're dancing. Now 3 minutes later, her cousin that has kids with a babysitter, and she's leaving early because they only got the babysitter at 11, and now she got to say bye to them. And it's like, when we're in the meetings for a consult or the final meeting, I always talk about that last hour is for you.
Right.
And you put all blood, sweat, and tears in this for a year or two and all the planning, and like, this is it. And in the prep, you know who's leaving early. You know who's drunk on the dance floor at the end of the night. And like, what is the vibe? And they have this vision. And the vision is not saying bye to people while you're vibing on the dance floor. And I can't stress it enough. People, write this down. Show your moms, show your aunts and uncles to watch this video. #wedding Irish exit.
I love it.
It's just, it's honestly, if we take anything away from this pod,
I feel like we should make an app, the Irish Exit app. You set it up for like each wedding, individually. You could do it,
say it.
and then boom, we
shouldn't be talking about this. Someone's going to steal.
No,
this
trademark, patent pending. This counts.
Listen,
we have
it
this.
took us 2 years to do this.
Right.
You think we're going to patent
it's like
pending
that's
this?
5 years down.
Right, like someone's going to do this, and we're going to be like, wow, that's wild. So let's dive in, and I think I might use this expression every single episode, but it really comes down to what the expectations are versus the reality. And I think it's so important to mention this because this is something that's not talked about enough. And everything that we talk about on these pods is like things that I'm mind blown about that aren't being discussed enough. I'm on TikTok. I watch podcasts. I'm in every Facebook group there is about brides and weddings. And there's just things that aren't discussed enough. And the first thing I'm going to mention is expectations versus reality.
Right.
And it's simply, the first thing I want to bring up is not surprising the couple with unexpected things at their wedding that could change how they feel about their wedding.
Right.
And it's simply a no-no in my opinion. And in some facts, in some aspects of things, I should say, is, let's use an example of, you want to, pay for your friend to get a photo booth and surprise them. A photo booth that's sitting in the corner of the room, that's not a wow factor or changing anything about the look or the vibe
it's a simple
of the
thing
night.
that adds a little bit more. That's fine.
Shout out to my friend Sharonda. She surprised one of my friend Breeze. We did Bree's wedding, and she got her a photo booth, and it was
That's
perfect.
awesome.
Add-on. It's in the corner. You actually did this wedding.
Oh, I did?
Yeah. It was Bluebell Country Club.
Oh, yeah.
You and Perko did it.
Yeah.
So it's one of them things where that's a cool surprise for the couple that, they got a photo booth. It's in the corner. It's nothing crazy. I have a couple of examples that I'm going to bring up that just, I feel like, hit home, and one just happened this week. So I get a call this week, and it was a mom, and they have everything booked already. The wedding's in like 3 or 4 weeks. And she had this amazing idea where, again, expectations versus reality. In theory, she had a great idea. Her husband had passed, and she wanted to do something special for her daughter during the father-daughter dance. And she was dancing with her brother, her uncle. We'll say her Uncle Mike. So she's dancing with Uncle Mike for her father-daughter dance song. And the mom thought it would be an awesome idea to have us bring a projector, which I'm against projectors at all weddings. They should never be used.
Right.
Now today we use like TVs that we set up before as like furniture with some like gobos on it, and then during this particular time they could display the montage or something.
Right.
But she wanted to display a montage of a bunch of pictures of her and her dad as she grew up, and some videos in there while she danced with her uncle. Now again, expectations versus reality. The expectations is that mom wanted to do something special for her daughter in a memory for her father. And again, in theory, it sounds great.
Yeah.
On the flip side, if the bride is already going through it, trying to keep it together, don't know how recent or not the dad passed,
Right.
If she's trying to get through that 4 minutes, if you will, dancing with her uncle, and then she turns around and sees a bunch of pictures and videos of her dad, it could be amazing.
I don't care how recent it's been. That's going to be an emotional.
That's the whole point. If she planned on, she's good. She like got herself like, we're going to be good. I got this. And she's dancing with Uncle Mike. She turns around And what if she just starts losing it and
As a
bawls her
father
eyes
with
out?
daughters, I can
Yeah,
completely
yeah. And I hope you're here for 50 years and
thank
you
you.
dance with your
Yes.
daughters at their weddings. But like, it's one of them things where the idea and concept for mom was, she was in a good place and she thought she was doing something great. Long story short, it didn't wind up working out for her. She didn't wind up booking it with us, which I'm kind of glad, to be honest, because I don't like surprises like that. And it's not something drastic, but it's something that could just change her vibe in the moment. And again, everyone is nervous at this point when they're dancing with when 100 to 300 people have all eyes on you. So it's one of them things where it's just like, that's a perfect example of like, I hate surprises for the couple.
Totally understand. That makes total sense.
My next one is way more specific. And again, when I mentioned us doing these pods, like, I don't want to call people out. I don't want to, but I want to talk about experiences that, listen, it is what it is. But here's another one. About a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, we had a couple book us, and the bride was a hockey referee, like a professional high level hockey. I don't know if it's college or like some sort of professional sport, but like, she's very big into hockey. I also believe her future husband was in the hockey somehow, some way, and maybe they were both refs. But so they book us, and then the dad reaches out to me, and the dad tells me that he paid to surprise them, to have the entire dance floor completely wrapped with a hockey ring.
Wrapped.
So you can, wrap it to
like
have,
the cars are wrapped, but instead of on the car, it's on the floor basically, and it looks like
exactly what
okay.
it is. So, sometimes people do it like a black and white checkered dance floor. You've probably seen at places.
Yeah.
But like, the entire dance floor was wrapped as a hockey rink. Now, to me, I'm like, that's a massive surprise.
Yeah.
Again, couples plan this stuff for 1 to 2 years, and they have this vision in their head. I promise you that nowhere in her vision was her dance floor a hockey rink. Now, she could have loved it. She's big into hockey.
Right.
It might have made sense for her, and they might have loved it. But my point is, that's not a photo booth in the corner.
You're taking a chance. You're
taking
a risk.
A chance
that you could be not ruining, but making it.
And again, it's one of them things where like, she could have liked it. It might not have been her bag, and she might not have said anything. But like, not to mention that they've been planning this for like, we'll say 1 or 2 years.
Right.
But you could also say that this bride's been planning her wedding day for 30 years, and since she was a little girl.
Right.
And unless that's came up to her, unless she's brought it up to her dad somewhere over the years, like, that's something that could massively change the vibe for her of what her, that's in all the pictures. It's everywhere.
I totally get it.
Dad called me to say something along the lines of, when we announce them for the first dance, can we have them meet at center ice? And like, is she loving it? Is she upset with her dad? Like, it's just.
So did we finish? Did we do this one?
Yeah, this was, like I said, like a year or two ago.
Oh, gotcha.
Did
you ever get her?
I think I didn't.
Did he end up going through with the rap?
Yeah. And again, could have been a great thing. She could have loved it. But my point is, what if she
taking
didn't?
A chance? Basically,
you're taking a chance. And realistically, like, there's no other way to put this, and it's kind of like cliche, but like, the dad was definitely like walking on thin ice at this point. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like, it's like, how do you not, like, it's just kind of crazy. But it's just, again, expectations versus reality. And I just.
No, that's the way you got to look at it, because everyone has different expectations, and the reality of it is it's not always going to work the way they think it's going to work.
And it's just, I can't stress this enough. So to anyone listening to this, like, the first thing we're going to take from this one is, let's stop trying to give surprises to the couple about their big day when it's something that could massively impact their feelings, their emotions of their wedding day.
Right.
Like,
well, there's also other expectations versus reality with just the bride and grooms themselves, who think that something that they want is going to go over great. Like, say, a cigar bar, right? You have a cigar bar, they think it's going to be great. Ugh. Oh, I'm going to get this. Everyone's going to love it. And then what? You have like everybody.
This one is so clutch, and this is such a good one to bring up, because I will look right in the camera and say, like, I hate cigar bars more than anything else in the world at a wedding. Maybe not anything else, but like, I hate it. Okay. The concept, again, expectation versus reality. Oh, like, my husband and the guys, they like to smoke a cigar. That's cool. But what you don't realize is that if you have 120 guests at your wedding and you have a cigar bar and now there's 40, we'll predominantly say men, outside smoking, and this also means that the groom is, if they get a cigar bar, the groom probably likes cigars.
If the groom's out there.
Now the groom's out there. Now all his boys are out there.
Right.
Now there's 25, 30% of your people outside. And do you know how long it takes to smoke a cigar?
It takes a little while.
A little while.
Hour,
so
25
there's
minutes.
some times where an hour goes by and I like go outside and I like nudge or respectfully tell the groom like,
right.
Hey, your wedding's over in 25 minutes. Like you've been outside for 45 minutes. Like maybe you want to come back in at this point. And again, no disrespect to anybody that got cigar bars for their weddings or think it's a great idea, or if you watch this and you already ordered a cigar bar, or not to talk shit on any cigar bar companies. It's just one of them things where this is my opinion.
The expectation versus reality is you expect it to be this momentous, great thing, and then when you get it there, it's just kind of taking up what would be maybe your banger time, if you know what I'm saying.
It's one of them things where...
Because don't you want it to be a banger at the end?
Yes.
You don't want them out there smoking.
And the more that the couple is out on the dance floor, the more the energy is always higher on the dance floor.
Right.
And that's a no-brainer. So taking 20, 25% of your guests and having them outside for 45 minutes just doesn't make sense to me. And it's one of them things where I just can't get the concept of it seems cool in theory, but the reality is that, and not even anything else other than like, do you really want your... If I'm the bride, do you really want your groom outside for 45 minutes of the thing? And realistically, let's talk about this. Most weddings are 5 hours, okay? You have an hour cocktail. You have the next hour of intros, formalities, speeches. Then you have an hour of dinner. Most weddings, you have a 2-hour open dance floor. They're not going out to smoke that cigar until that 2-hour dance floor window.
Right, so now you're taking up that 2 hours.
Literally, I think most times at cigar bars, there's a good percent of people outside for 45 minutes, a.k.a. half of the time of your open dance floor, whether it's pictures, whether it's moments with your spouse, whether it's making memories, or, you have photo and video, and the groom's not in any of these pictures or any of these videos because he's been outside half the night. So it's just a great topic to bring up. It's just one of them things that I just feel like people don't think through when they're planning a wedding.
Well, that's why we're going to talk about expectations versus reality a lot on a lot of these pods because new things are going to pop up and we're going to touch on them.
It's something like, to pivot real quick, when we talk about what the idea is and what's their vision, we'll say,
right.
I'm now convinced, and I use this in every consult, where you could say bride and grooms, but realistically, we're talking brides on this one, where I'm now calling it the beautiful banger.
The beautiful banger. I've heard you talk about this.
It's a simple concept. I think most brides and grooms will want 2 separate weddings, and they want the beautiful, elegant.
I was going to say elegant
ceremony. And, the formalities, and they want everything to be elegant and that ambiance.
Right.
And then, and I see this in every time we have calls or consults, I should say, where we're talking about paint the picture and what's the vision and what's the vibe. And they talk about that. Like, I love seeing their emotions come through when we're doing a FaceTime or Zoom. And they're like, that the picture of the dress in the window and my girl's helping me get dressed and I can't wait to have that first dance with my future husband and everything is beautiful. And then they completely have a 180 and their whole demeanor changes and they're like, we want bangers and we just want to party. And I'm like, all right, well, like, what is that vibe? And they're like, frat basement. I'm like, frat basement. I'm like, okay, like we can go with this. So the beautiful banger, I'm calling it because it's literally 2 weddings. The first half, they want it to be beautiful and elegant. And then the second half, they just want to get wild and let loose and super high energy.
I love that. A beautiful banger. It makes sense.
This is why we started this. I think it's massive to help couples with 20 years of experience in the business. Let us help you not make the little mistakes that others
I love
made.
that.
I think at the end of the day, the entire game plan of this podcast is to help couples with the little things,
right,
to help them not make the same mistakes and minor stuff, not massive things that other couples have done, or, you know, couples that have told me after their wedding about, and again, it can be little things, stuff about a first look, stuff about skipping the garter and bouquet, not announcing the cake cutting. And, you know, over this first season of the pod, we're going to kind of dive into a lot of the do's and don'ts.
It's the little things that people don't know, and you get one shot at it, right? You're spending a lot of money. You're dedicating a lot of time, effort, energy, everything into this. So if you want to make it right, why not go to someone who, you know, has a little bit of experience that could help you?
Something I say in every consult is, you got one shot at this. There's no room for hiccups or errors.
I hear the Eminem music right now.
Yeah. And it's just something so massive that weddings are stressful. They're overwhelming. There's so much into it. And there's so many little things behind the scenes that nobody talks about. And that's what this pod's about, talking about it.
And I do everything in weddings, so I'll give you
and that's why you're going to be a great, you know, co-host.
Hey, don't forget that we're going to have a lot of guests on here coming in from the industry too.
And everyone, I'm excited. We're going to be having multiple avenues from the wedding business.
Yeah.
We have event planners, we have other DJs, we have other DJ companies. We're going to have other guests. You are going to be our behind the scenes guy when we have guests. So shout out to you when you're
listen. You know, if there's some way to comment on this and you want to ask me a question, by all means, I will answer it.
I'm excited that we're eventually going to be doing lives too, but that's another story. But as far as guests, we are going to have DJs, photographers, event planners, business owners in the business. We are going to have venue sales managers in here talking about different things that they like, that they don't like, or even more importantly, this is going to be a perfect example for you, and we're going to save this for another episode, but like, what do photographers and or videographers, what do they wish couples knew that they don't, that can help them or you do your job better, that, again, people aren't talking about enough? So, you know, I think that's a good segue for the next one.
I love it.
And, you know, I'm excited that we have episode 1 in the books.
It's just like the gym. And you got to get there and do it.
Shake your hand, my guy.
No,
and,
I appreciate
you know, let's do this. The closed episode 1, boom, we did it.